Get ready for a no BS approach to health and fitness. This is MBS Fitness Radio.
What's up? Welcome back to MBS Fitness Radio. I'm here with Zeenan Pathan. Zeenan has been a member at MBS Fitness since when?
It's been about 4 months and 3 weeks exactly.
All right, cool. So kind of fresh, new to it. Man, give me kind of your story, your training history, what got you interested. Just kind of tell me your story.
Right. So before I joined MBS, I had zero training history. I had a couple bad lab reports at my doctor, and I knew I had to make a change. So other than eating better, I was like, I got to start exercising. So
How old are you?
I'm 32.
Okay,
32.
gotcha.
Yeah. So that's kind of what led me to the door.
There's
by chance.
A little bit of a shock at 32 to be like, hey, this doesn't look good.
Right, exactly. And that was the thing that really had me down, because I was like, I'm not that old, and I wasn't feeling my optimal self. So I knew I had to make a change. And my sister, actually, who's not even a member, she had just sent me a link to MBS, and
How
was
did
like,
she know about it?
She was just Googling different gyms,
All right.
and she was like, just go here. And I
Okay.
literally just went online. I signed up for the No Sweat intro,
Very
and
cool.
I showed up to the Collierville gym, and the rest was history.
Did you play sports or exercise at all growing up?
Growing up, I used to play basketball, actually.
Okay.
I played competitively. I played AAU, but this is when I was a teenager.
Where are you from originally?
My parents are from Pakistan,
Okay.
but I was born here in Memphis.
Okay, so you've been in Memphis your whole life.
I'm born and raised here,
Okay,
pretty
cool.
much, yeah.
Very
So, other than that, that's probably the only type of sport history I have.
Now, you played that through high school.
I basically quit my freshman year.
Okay.
But I played it through, most of my teenage years and middle school.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were doing any sports, no exercise, like high school, college?
I
20s?
would play just pick up ball with my
Okay.
friends and stuff like that, but nothing competitively, and no weight training or anything like that. So
Okay.
yeah, this is totally new for me.
Okay, very cool. Do you mind sharing kind of what the lab reports were, like what they said?
Well, my glucose levels were really high.
Okay.
Like I was borderline diabetic at that time.
were you
Yeah, I was pre-diabetic, and just like my lipid profile
Yeah.
was not very good,
Okay.
very high. So those are like the two primary things that
Okay.
stood out at me.
Gotcha. Okay, so like what were your goals? Because
All right.
one thing that I find is like somewhat interesting is like if you don't have a background in exercise or training or any of that, sometimes it's hard to come up with like concrete goals. You're like, I want to be healthy and fit. And you're like, well,
Right.
what's that look like?
Exactly.
Like, I don't know.
All right.
How'd you set your goals?
I guess for me, initially it was more about just cutting the body fat,
Okay.
which still is. I'm
Yeah.
working on that.
Yeah.
But as we got more into it and I got better at the program, I feel like I'm more shifting towards building more muscle now.
Yeah.
So those are my primary two goals, I think, and
Very cool.
heading towards like building more muscle now.
Yeah, it's just a kind of a complete body composition change.
Right.
Between, I'll put on some more muscle, lose some body fat.
Yeah.
Overall, and that's super impactful to your health and fitness, but also, even like the objective metrics of like glucose.
Right.
Like the more muscle you have, the more glucose or the more insulin receptors you have, the
Right.
more place you have to put glucose,
Exactly.
the better you can handle glucose, right?
Right.
Cool. What, so what I want to talk about is like, what was the first week like for you?
Okay, I'm gonna be totally honest. It was total hell. But so I work with Chris Hoppy over there at the Collierville location, and he's just been like amazing. I really give him a lot of credit. He's been super patient with me. Like the first day, I had my first session, and I was super nervous. So man, like I literally almost fainted after doing 10 squats, I think.
Yeah.
And later,
you go through were you going through the level method assessment?
Yeah, I went through all that.
Yeah.
So I just remember that first day, like I couldn't do front squats. Like they were brutal for me, and my stamina was just so low. It's crazy now. I just whip them out fast, and I progressed so much. But it's just I always remember that because I was like, just call the ambulance. I'm done. I don't know if this is for me, but yeah, that's pretty much how it all started. So it's crazy.
It's a running joke how difficult day one, like amongst the staff, is like there's a running joke that's like, do not make them puke on day one.
I was so close. I was so close.
And it's not like it's crazy. I mean, it's 20 squats in 60 seconds. I think is like that's the one that seems to get everybody. You know, maybe is that the front squat one? Maybe that's the squat endurance one. Whatever one it is, it's like 20 squats in 60 seconds.
And I mean, when he told me like just to get started, like I was like, I can do that. That ain't a problem. And then I started doing it. Oh my God. It just hit me.
You don't have that that reference to like, you're like, it doesn't sound hard. I think I could probably do it. And then like, oh, that's harder than it looks.
Right.
And I just think like so many people who are untrained, a lot of times they just don't quite realize like how truly out of shape they really are.
Exactly.
And, you know, unfortunately, it's like you're going to come to that realization at some point. It'd be better to do it in your first, you know, kickstart session, your first day in the gym, than it like happen out in real life and be like, uh-oh, like either this is a life or death situation or this is a, like I remember going, where do we go? Fall Creek Falls up in Tennessee. My wife and I went on a vacation one time. And it's like a really awesome waterfall. But you have to walk probably a mile downward of like pretty vertical steps. Wow. And, you know, it's not crazy, but it's not easy. And like the entire way down with just like corpses of people who had like are along this journey to go down and see this waterfall, just like strewn out like, you know, people fanning each other or like pouring water on themselves. And you're like they were just completely ill prepared. And like, we're not aware of it. They're like, yeah, I can walk down there. And didn't realize like, you can't, like not without stopping and cooling yourself off every 15 minutes. But, all right. So like, when did you, the kind of that first transition is tough, you know, because, one, you don't have, it's a new change to your schedule. Yeah. You know, it's like, I have to now take time I was putting elsewhere towards this. It's a change in how you feel. I mean, you could go from being like, generally, feel okay every day, to like, I'm freaking sore every day. How was that transition? And like, when did it kind of like click where you're like, yeah, I want to do a little bit more?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like that first month was pretty hard as far as adjusting, and I had a lot of soreness in the beginning, but I don't know, as my body started to catch up with the sessions and I just got stronger and had my stamina went up, I felt like I was able to make that transition pretty quickly. So I went from like training 2 days to 3, and now I'm up to 4.
Nice.
So I kind of, but I mean, I was patient with it. Like I didn't just bust out from the beginning, go straight to 4. So it was a gradual.
What do you
process.
think would have happened if you had done 4 the first
I think it would have been hard to recover. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think the recovery would have been hard. So I definitely think the start of, you know, only going 2 days and having that ample time to recover was very key for me.
Do you remember what 2 days you were doing?
I think in the beginning I was doing Monday and Wednesday. No, Monday and Thursday maybe.
Okay.
It's hard to remember. It's hard to remember now. So.
Okay, that's like the perfect, like, you know, you probably, I'm a little sore on Tuesday, I'm really sore on Wednesday, and by Thursday I feel good again. I go back in and like you're on that cycle where your body can be sore, come down and feel fresh to go train. Right. Versus like if you had to train again on Tuesday, you may be like, I can't walk today.
Exactly. So I'm very happy the course of action, it worked out.
Where did you make the exchange in time? Like, what were you using that time for prior to training?
Sleeping.
Okay.
Because it was 5:30.
Okay, yeah.
So like when I did my no sweat intro, like I had it with Keiki. So I guess at that time she really wanted me to work with Chris, and she was raving about Chris, and I was like, who's this Chris guy? You know. Yeah. So I'm very happy she did set me up with Chris, but at that time the slot that was available I think was 5:30 at Collierville. So I was like, oh man, it's super early. I don't know if I can do this, but hey, it'll make me more disciplined. So I was like, hey, if it's gonna be hard like this, it's a good thing. Let's do it.
So like, what was your previous like morning schedule? What time were you waking up?
Well, I work for myself. Okay. So I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah. I do like real estate investing and stuff like that. So, you know, I would wake up a little bit later in the day. I don't have to wake up that early. Yeah. So probably like 8, 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had like a pretty big shift to going from like 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 mid morning kind of 8-9 o'clock routine.
Right.
Be at the gym at 5:30.
Exactly.
How do you feel now that how's it changed your day now that you start your day with exercise?
Man, I feel like the rest of my day is just so much better now as far as like my discipline.
Yeah.
Like because I got that amazing workout in first, I'm so much more looking forward to what other task I have on my schedule for that day. So it's just made me more passionate about everything else, and I really feel like I get like a head start on my day now. So those hours I'm asleep, I'm awake now, so I'm more productive.
Do you go to sleep earlier?
I've been doing that more lately, probably the last 2 months. In the first month or two, it was a hard adjustment because I wasn't used to it. It's been years of staying up late, you know. So the last 2 months, I've been, sleeping earlier because, I mean, to keep up with that routine, recovery is key and resting is key. Yeah. So if I wanted to see the actual progress, I was like, I got to start going to sleep earlier. Can't stay up all night on Facebook, whatever. So
yeah, and it also gets you like kind of in the mode of like you're like, if I don't get sleep, I'm gonna feel bad and perform bad tomorrow. And you're like, same thing with nutrition. You're like, man, if I eat this crap, like, I'm not gonna hit my goals, or if I drink this, like, I'm gonna feel like crap tomorrow.
Right. There's a guilt factor.
Yeah. And you can see like objectively how it's negatively impacting you.
Right.
Like as you start to like get into the training, like you have these goals. You're like, I want to do another pull up, or I want to squat 20 more pounds, or whatever it is, and you start like seeing how all the other things, all the other decisions you make, like impact that. Mm-hmm. I really love starting the day with some type of movement, some type of discipline, because I feel like it doesn't. There's no transitionary groggy period. Yeah. Like it's like as soon as you're done with your workout, like, okay, now I'm productive. Yeah. And so
super psychological too, right?
Yeah. The hardest thing I've faced every morning. So my morning routine is literally like I wake up and I go get in the cold tub. Oh, wow. Like that's first thing before like getting my kids' lunches ready or doing anything. The first thing I do is get in the cold tub. And I do it for two reasons. One, it's like a giant epinephrine dump. Yeah. I mean, it's like instant energy.
Shocks you.
Yeah. There's no transition of like I'm feeling groggy. It's like instant epinephrine. I'm awake, ready to roll. It's also like some days I'll sit there and stare at that cold tub like, I really don't want to get in this dang cold tub. Like it's the roughest way to possibly start your morning. Right. But it's also the hardest thing I have to do all day. Right. Like physically, or the most mentally challenging thing I have to do is like expose my recently woken up warm body to 40-degree temperature. Right. But if I do that, there's not really anything else that's going to occur that day that's going to be as mentally challenging as that. So it's kind of puts things in perspective.
Definitely.
Very cool. So what has you kind of been exposed to this, where did you fall on the level method? Like, what were your strengths? What were your weaknesses?
I think my strengths was definitely, funny thing is the squats, which I felt like were so hard for me in the beginning. I felt like anything with the lower body, I was definitely excelling. Yeah. And I still am. And then I say weaknesses, just trying to get stronger still, I would say. Overall strength. I'm still working on that.
And the barbell, like the body weight stuff?
Probably a little bit of both, okay. But I think this past month I made a lot of progress on that. Okay. But definitely I think my endurance that was the first thing that definitely got boosted. Yeah, was my endurance.
So now that you've been exposed to it, then what kind of stuff do you enjoy doing versus what's the stuff you're like, oh man, that's not my favorite?
Now, I really enjoy doing deadlifts. Okay. Any of this. I enjoy back squats now. Okay. We just started doing them recently though, but those two I really enjoy doing. And what I hate, I don't like wall balls. Okay. I don't like burpees. Yeah. Those two I don't really like that much.
Yeah, that's everyone. Why do you think you like the barbell stuff?
That's a good question. I guess it's just the ability to see the strength. You're able to lift something. It just feels pretty good.
It's very objective,
Right.
and like
Straightforward and
yeah,
objective.
like, you either lifted the weight or you didn't lift
Right.
the weight. And you can see like that objective, progress.
Right.
Why don't you think you like the burpees or the wall balls?
It's just tiring. Like I just feel like you get winded so fast, and it's brutal. The fatigue.
Yeah, very very fatiguing.
Yeah.
What's kind of like been some lessons you've learned since starting?
I
mean,
mean,
it can be physical, mental, social, all that kind of stuff.
I think that your mind is stronger than you think, and so is your body in a sense. I mean, we're pretty resilient. So I remember a lot of these sessions where midway through them, I'm like really doubting myself. I'm like, I don't even think I can do. I can't even do one more pull up, or I can't even do one more squat or whatever. But it's crazy how I was able to do one more, and one more turned into 10 more, and I finished it, right? So I just the resiliency, I think, that if you put your mind to something, you can do it. So
does your self-talk has it changed over the last 4 months?
Definitely. I feel like that's been like the biggest thing that's really helped me a lot, is that positive self-talk, and being put in uncomfortable situations and being able to get out of it, and hey, I'm alive at the end of the session. I didn't die. Yeah. So I feel like as human beings, we have a natural low tolerance for pain. Yeah. And just being uncomfortable, we just don't like it. So I feel like my pain tolerance has increased in a good way. So I feel like those things definitely stick out.
How's that impacted other areas of your life?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I'm just much more passionate and much more just motivated. I feel more motivated than I was before I joined MBS. Yeah. I don't think things for granted as much as I used to. So I feel like it's kind of spilled over to everything else in my life, as far as my work, with my son, my family. I'm definitely more in the moment, appreciating things more.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, how old's your son?
My son is 2.5. 2.5. Yeah, he's at that age, so he's can be hard to deal with. So this has definitely helped me as far as physically and even mentally. Yeah. So it's been great. I feel like I joined at the perfect time.
That's awesome. I have a 2.5-year-old too. So,
yeah. Terrible twos is real.
And he's also my middle child.
Oh wow.
Which he's chaos embodied. So he's pure energy all the time. Right. And of course, as any toddlers, that can be pure energy and of happiness, or pure energy of toddler sadness. Yeah. But he's super fun. But yeah, I can imagine having a lot of physical, mental capacity from doing this stuff. It's just I can see it carry over into how I can parent.
Right. And it has, definitely.
And I just think sometimes I'm I don't know how any of y'all survive kids when you are obese and don't have an out of shape.
Yeah, it's hard.
I was it's hard enough being pretty physically fit.
I feel you. I feel you, because I think about 4 months ago, I used to get out of breath. He'd be just taking me running around all day, and I can't keep up with him. I'll tell my sister just take over. I'm gonna sit down. But now I'm hey, I'm ready. Let's do it. I don't get as fatigued as fast. I still get fatigued by the end of the day, but not as fast. Not burnt out as quickly.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think you can do life with your kids. I made a statement one time. I have a lot of memories of doing things at my grandparents' house, but not doing things with my grandparents. Because it's the way they engaged with us was they sat down and watched us do things. Yeah. And I remember growing up playing both my parents were very physically active, and we did things together as a family. I played. My dad would go in the backyard and play basketball with me, or I played on his hockey team, or we would go camping and hiking, and we were just very active family. And just being that's how I want to build memories and relationships with my kids, by doing life with them, right? Versus you're at the playground,
being a spectator,
spectating. But then also creating a legacy that goes further than that. It's I want that can continue.
With their kids.
And my grandkids, where we do life as a family together. Not
that's priceless.
Grandpa David with the bad back and the bad knees, who like is always sitting down in his rocking chair just watching kids.
Well, luckily you're doing the ice baths and stuff, so
Right.
you should be good.
Yeah, I was gonna talk a little bit more about the self talk, because so I'm started training when I was 14, and I'm or 12. No, I started training when I was 12. I'm 37 now, so 25 years. And like what I'll see people kind of go through is maybe kind of this process of like a negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna die. You need to quit. You need to stop. It's that exposure to that new discomfort.
Yeah.
It's like, because it's so new, you haven't experienced it before. It's shocking. And I kind of think back, like, did you ever watch, like, it was called MTV Made? Do you remember that TV show?
No, I never saw that one.
Anyways, what they would do is it was like they'd hire, like, there'd be a kid who wanted to be made into something he or she currently wasn't. So, like a football player wanted to be made into like a concert pianist, or like maybe a kind of a nerdy kid wanted to be made into the homecoming king or something. But for whatever reason, like no matter what the thing was, they'd always hire them a personal trainer.
Oh, okay.
Like if someone wanted to be a pianist, they'd hire him a personal trainer.
That's
like part of
funny.
this transformation.
Yeah.
But if the person had never exercised before, on day one, they were literally like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced this, like, I haven't experienced the effects of exercise in a long time. Like, I haven't felt my heart rate this high. I've never been out of breath. I've never felt my muscles fatigue.
Right.
Surely this must be what death feels like. And, and you could hear them, like, they would say, like, I can't do it. No, I can't. It was like a lot of that kind of negative self-talk.
Right. Yeah.
And then slowly, like, you kind of transition into, like, that positive self-talk.
Right.
It's like you've been through it enough times where then you go, like, you can do it. Keep pushing.
Right.
How long do you think it took you to kind of go from maybe the negative to the positive?
I feel like this month has been like that transition where, like, there's times with Coach Hoppy, I would be like, this is hard. And I would just say it out loud, like, this is really hard. And he'd be like, it's hard, but Short is having heart disease. Yeah. And I was like, okay, he got me right back into my workout. So there's different types of hard, like it is hard to wake up this early and come here and work out and give it your all. But hey, when you're having health problems, that's hard too,
100%.
So I feel like definitely this past month, it's transitioned because I've done so many sessions now, and I've completed them in a good way, and then I've seen the progress that I'm like, I'm doing it. It's not a matter of can I do it. I am doing it. So I have that confidence now.
That's like a lot of the power of the habits. Is like, obviously now it's kind of like in the front end, the first month it's really hard because you're kind of changing who you are and how you live life. Like,
exactly,
you're having to change a lot of stuff. And eventually it kind of becomes like, that's just kind of who I am and what I do. And it's like, it's more of a routine and a habit. How important do you think it was having a coach to guide you through that?
Oh, that was critical. Like I said, I give so much credit to Coach Hoppy. I mean, he really instilled that discipline in me, and just, taking every day as a new day, like not getting too ahead of ourselves, and, just slowly chipping away. And I know I sound like a cliche athlete, but it's kind of like, it's really true about what they say, because I used to always hear interviews and it's just about getting better every day. Yep. And I'm definitely looking at my training like that. Like, it's every day is a new day. So just trying to get a little bit better than yesterday.
Do you think you would have been able to wake up and do it on your own?
Probably not.
Without having to meet somebody?
I think it would have been super hard, just because I think I'm the type of person that I prefer to have like a tailored program like this, and just to have that person in the room that knows what they're talking about, that will, have that program ready for me, and I don't have to really think about it on a daily basis, because I feel like that would definitely get me, in a situation where I might not have the motivation to do it by myself. So I think that since the program is already kind of made for me for that particular day and what our goals are, I feel like that definitely helps.
Have you used like a coach or a mentor in any other area?
Unfortunately, no, but I probably should.
Well, yeah, like like I've had a lot of training coaches and multiple mentors in different areas, business and whatnot. But like, I mean, I think that the more I do, I'm just like, I just don't want to do anything without a coach. Right. It's just like so much. Like, I think once you've experienced it, you're like,
why would you not want a coach, right?
Well, I mean, like, you get me there 100 times faster. Like, I don't want to wait for this crap. Like,
that's true. That's definitely true. You know? Instead of trying to learn everything on your own and jumping into the ocean like that, you definitely get to your goal a lot quicker and without, you know, like I said, injuries and stuff like that. You know, like that's another thing. I feel like that was huge with Coach Hoppy. Like we definitely do it in a safe way where I'm not being like exposed in a bad way where I can hurt myself.
Yeah, yeah. It's someone that kind of puts up, I call it bowling with bumpers. It's like it's someone that like keeps you moving forward.
Right.
So you're not going to stall and do nothing, but also keeps you from rolling off the edge and finding yourself in the gutter.
So true.
Why'd you decide you wanted to coach? Why didn't you just say, I'm going to go to the gym?
I feel like the education side of all this was super important to me, and I just naturally was interested from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I'm always asking a lot of questions, like, hey, am I doing it right? Is my posture good? Am I breathing like the way I'm supposed to? So I sort of got obsessed, I think, in a good way. So that was just me. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people that prefer the group classes, let
me like, why did you decide to seek any type of coaching versus just joining the gym and going and doing your own thing at a gym?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think I needed that guidance, like what we're talking about. I needed that guidance. I needed that person to hold me accountable and that system in place. That was really what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Because I've done it my way in the past. You know, I've tried to go in the gym and lift weights by myself, and I quit after a couple of days. So it's just the whole program was really working out for me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a good insight into yourself and like having being able to look in the mirror and be real with yourself and kind of being like, hey, like this is where my strengths are and this is where I need help. And so I'm going to go.
And it's okay to need help, you know, it's totally fine.
Like I said, I want to be coaching everything.
Right.
You know, like,
I feel you.
I always operate better with a team and some structure. And like I said, like, I'm very motivated to do work, but I get distracted easily. And
me too.
I just would rather someone who's got that experience tell me the actions I need to take to move forward down this line.
Definitely.
I kind of have like a run or joke that I'll say sometimes where it's like, you know, the person who's in charge of making your health and fitness decisions has no history of success, has never gotten themselves through it or anyone else through it, and has only shown brief periods of, you know, being on and off and then quitting. So don't hire that person again. You know, like don't hire yourself.
Right.
You're probably you're probably not a very good objective. You can't have a good objective point of view for yourself in areas where you don't have a lot of experience.
Exactly. I mean, it's a humbling experience, but it's so necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think that's like what you end up finding is like maybe you have some success in other areas, or it's easy to look back with that. It's easy to look back with that perspective and be like, oh yeah, like, yeah, this is why you have a coach. But sometimes when someone's like, yeah, I kind of want to do it myself, I'm like, I'm telling you,
right. Well,
that's a bad strategy.
Yeah, I feel you. I have family members that are kind of like that. So
yeah, and like, look, I mean, some people can't do it. There's not to say that like no one can do it.
Right.
I would venture to say that like whatever progress you make on your own is always going to be slower than the progress you could have made working with a coach. But some people do have the self-discipline, accountability to get it done on their own. But some people don't, and they just don't want. They just, for whatever reason, can't look themselves in the mirror and like recognize that and be like, "That's not a bad thing. Like that's okay.
It's okay."
You just, now that you have that recognition, like put the thing in place. Because what's more important, getting there or getting there by yourself?
Right.
Like to me, I would think getting there is the most important thing. I don't care if I get there with 10 people or 100 people.
Right.
However many people it takes me to get there, like I want to get there. I want the results.
I guess for me, I had years of trying to do it my way.
Yeah.
So eventually I was like, you know what, my way is not working.
Yeah.
I'm going to try something different.
Yeah.
So
you had that little bit of perspective. Like,
I had that perspective. I mean, I tried in my 20s at certain times to try to get in better shape, but it just I was never able to follow through with it 100%. So I was like, I need something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. What do you think you'll take away from this and like implement into like your maybe family values or something like that? Like, how will you take this experience and like teach your son?
Right. Well, I feel like before I came to MBS, although I knew the benefits of physical health, I wasn't really a living example of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the fact that, I'm showing up every day and I'm seeing the health benefits, and I'm seeing the benefits in other things too. So just being that example for him, and just educating him on the importance of it, because I feel like with the society we live in right now, it's just everything is fast, right? Fast food, it's just a lot of stuff has just been thrown at us, which is not necessarily healthy for us. So we got to take care of our bodies, and, it goes along with our mind and even spirit. So I think it's all connected.
100%. Right. And it's good for him to like, say like your kids listen to like some of what you say and all of what you do.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to get a lesson across, it's a heck of a lot better if you're like
actually doing it.
Living it out too. Their way it connects a little bit.
Right. And it's interesting because along the way, a lot of the coaches were telling me like, this is a lifestyle change. Yeah. It's not just you're here on Tuesdays and Thursdays or whatever, but just imagine long term. Yeah. And I feel like along the way I've started to, adopt that mindset, and I see myself doing this, forever if I can. So
yeah. Well, it's like this is today until you die.
Right.
That's the way this works.
Right.
You stop.
I mean, you always have goals along the way, but it's just, just getting up the next day and it's, staying at it. I feel like it's so important.
Yeah. But it's like, look, whatever progress you made, it goes away.
Right.
You stop.
Exactly.
It
doesn't take long to go back to where you started from.
It goes away. So like we have to have a strategy. Like, I mean, it's not, I do think it's good to break goals down into like tasks. And like one of the best things I heard here recently was just halving it until it seems realistic. So like, let's say, how much you weigh?
I think I'm 195.
Okay.
195. Yeah.
So let's say like it's like what would be like a really good squat goal? And I said, well, double your body weight, 400-pound squat. And you're like, crap, like I'm not anywhere near there. Well, we can like slowly start breaking that down in half,
right?
Until we get to like a realistic goal. So like let's say we have someone who's never trained before and like comes in day one and like struggles with squatting their body weight for 10 reps. All right, well, let's break that from 400 to body weight. Like, well, half of that would be 200 pounds. That still seems like undoable. 100 pounds. That still seems like undoable. 50 pounds. It's the barbell on your back, squatting down for 10 reps. I still can't do that. 25 pounds. Okay, so I think I can do that. So now, like, we set this goal of working towards that 25-pound goblet squat for 10 reps or whatever it would be, right? And, like, that's a bite. And that's the beauty of the level method map is that's basically what it does. It takes it down to, like, a bite-size chunk and says, like, well, that's the goal you have to kind of shoot for. Right. And in doing so, that allows you to get that momentum and build that progress. And same thing can be said for body fat or muscle gain or whatever it be, is like breaking it down to the smaller goals that keeps you moving along the way.
Right.
Versus coming in and saying, I want to squat 400 pounds, and on day one you get smashed by the 10 bodyweight squats, and then you're like, I give up.
Give up, right.
So having that long-term perspective, like how do I set myself up for like success over my life? I want to do this till the day I die. So how do I make decisions now that are gonna carry me through to that?
Right.
Don't sacrifice that long-term plan for like some type of short-term success.
Exactly. And I guess another thing for me, I'm just kind of going back what you're saying and having those small attainable goals And then also just enjoying the journey, you know, like sometimes we focus so much on the destination that we forget to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, that's something that we take for granted.
100%.
It's a journey, and like the small wins.
Yeah.
You know, just getting up and showing up is a win, right? So
Well, and I think there is something powerful behind like performance-based goals, because they're pretty objective, and a lot of times they are like somewhat linear, meaning like you can go from doing 1 push-up to 2 push-ups to 3 push-ups to 4 push-ups. Sometimes, you know, like trying to lose 20 pounds of body fat or get your body fat percentage to like 15%, you know, that looks a little more jagged edge, you know, at times. So it's nice to be able to have like, and there's a lot of things in life that aren't objective like that. They're very subjective, like happiness, success, whatever, you know. Those are really kind of hard to define. So it's nice to like build momentum by having objective improvements.
Right.
You did 2 more push-ups. That's awesome, dude. High five. Like celebrate that, and that makes you more engaged and excited.
Motivated.
Yeah, and you're like, I can do this. Like, what's the next goal? It's like putting the carrot in front of you. You know, like just keep grabbing that carrot, and you're like, all right, like this keeps me moving forward.
Right.
Awesome. What's like a fun memory that sticks out in your mind, like over the last, like maybe something funny that happened? Yeah.
I mean, I got to go back to like almost passing out. Yeah. So that first training session, I went to the bathroom. I was like, I need 5 minutes. I go to the bathroom. I literally just lay out in the bathroom. I'm like, I don't even have my phone. I'm like, I'm going to call Chris, like, get me out of here, man. So I just remember coming out, him grabbing me a Gatorade, and I remember him saying, like, you're going to remember this day. You're going to laugh later. And, you know, trust me, it gets easier. And I'm like, he's just saying that. Yeah. It's going to be horrible for me. But I don't know. Somewhere along the line, I started to enjoy the pain, and I started to just really get better at it. And so I guess that's probably the most funny yet, like, meaningful moment in a sense, because later on I started to do really well, which awesome. I'm doing well now. So
what's been your biggest bright spot, like your biggest goal that you knocked out?
I think losing the body fat.
Yeah.
So I think I lost like maybe 5 or 6% body fat. So I think that might equal to 12, 13 pounds of fat.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to see my actual weight go down.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been huge.
That's awesome.
I didn't foresee this happening this fast.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
Have you been back to the doctor?
I did actually go back to the doctor. I was gonna talk about that. So like, I'm no longer pre-diabetic.
Hey, that's awesome, man.
And my lipid panel is like pretty much normal.
Yeah.
And just across the board, like my blood report is pretty good now. So I'm at a stable numbers. So.
What did the doctor say?
Well, this was the doctor I ended up going back to last time was the doctor that initially told me that, you know, I'm pre-diabetic or whatever. And he was just shocked when he saw me. I mean, I physically looked different to him, and he was just like, wow, okay. And because he had prescribed me some medicines at that time, and I didn't take them because I was like, you know, I'm only 32. I can get back in shape. It's happened before. So he was like, you know, at this point, you know, I don't really foresee you needing any medication at this point. So just keep up the healthy diet and the whatever exercise routine you're doing. It's working. And I was like, yeah, I know it's working. So it felt really good to go there.
Yeah, I bet.
And,
that's really
because I was really down on myself when I had that happen. Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I thought that felt good to kind of.
Oh yeah. It felt amazing.
Have you changed your diet up?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it wasn't just training hard. I feel like that was probably harder than training.
Yeah.
You know, getting out of those bad habits of, you know, fast, because I was a big fast food guy. I love fast food.
Where was your go-to fast food?
Go-to fast foods. I love like chicken wings. Okay. I'm a chicken wing guy, so any of the local chicken wing places, you know, Memphis is the best. So, so yeah.
I imagine you and Chris have many a chicken wing conversation because he's also a chicken.
Really,
wing.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, ask him.
We try not to talk about that type of foods.
Yeah, you don't want to. That's almost just torturous while you're sitting there doing burpees. He's like, hey, what's your favorite chicken?
Right,
wing?
man.
I don't think about that.
5:30 in the morning too.
Yeah.
So, no.
Okay, so you were hitting up. So like, what'd you change?
I started preparing my meals.
Okay.
You know, I started eating more at home, and then when I did go out, I would try to find more healthier options. So yeah, I definitely, you know, I had to really cut out the fast food. I mean, I have it once in a while now, but it's not like an everyday thing. And the sodas, The sodas, the Coke and Sprite, I got rid of all that.
Nice.
And then, along the way, I found like alternatives, so I started buying like those amino acids, like BCAAs, and just to flavor my water. Small stuff like that, just to have that flavor. Because I really realized it's like the flavor is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So once I did those type of things, I felt like that became a habit. Now I'm pretty content where I am overall.
How was like changing and like prepping up your own food?
It was hard. I mean, my family thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
They still do. Yeah. They're like, he's so obsessed with this stuff. So, but they've also seen like the results, so they get it now. But
wait, are you working with Jessie?
I'm working with Jessie, and she's also been huge. Cool. She's been great. She's amazing. But so definitely working with Jessie, and then obviously the training is definitely helped a lot.
What was like the big? What do you guys feel like the big key takeaways were for you from a nutritional standpoint?
Mm-hmm. I feel like quantity control. I feel like that's something I never really understood. Like, because I told you, my parents are from Pakistan, so like we eat a lot of rice, and we eat large quantities of it. Yeah. So it's just like my mom just throw the big old plate in front of me, like, hey, there's dinner.
Eat it.
And that's like 3 meals in one.
Yeah.
So just, getting that under control and just re-educating myself in a sense. Like, this is all new for me,
Like, culturally,
right?
What is like the typical like meal style for them? Is it big dinner?
Have you ever had like Indian food?
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to Indian food.
Well, I mean like more like the rhythm of like eating throughout the day. Is it breakfast, lunch, dinner, or? Like
we're not super into breakfast. I noticed it's more like lunch, heavy lunch, and heavy dinner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you're pretty full. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you're kind of like either maybe a drink or something light in the morning.
Yeah.
And big lunch, big dinner.
Big lunch, big dinner.
Carb heavy.
Super carb heavy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Which, you always kind of like look at that and you're like are these cultures that just eat absurd amounts of carbs? And like, how are all of y'all not obese?
Right. That's amazing. Cause I mean, the couple of times I did visit, like most people are in shape. So
I think they're just so much more physically active. Life just requires more physical activity.
That's true.
You're walking to the market.
They need that energy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're using that energy up all day because you're not sitting in front of a computer like this.
Right. That's amazing.
Yeah. Very cool, man. Well, Zeenan, man, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, sharing your story, brother.
I appreciate you inviting me.
Very cool.
It's been fun.
Absolutely, man. Keep up the good work. We're all super proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. NBS Fitness Radio out.
Thank you for listening to NBS Fitness Radio. If you enjoyed the podcast, be sure to share it with your friends, follow us on social media, and check out our website at www.nbsfitness.net. Hit the subscribe button and tune in next time for more NBS Fitness Radio.